How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here with a video about Black Ops 3's newest map pack, Descent, which is DLC installment number 3. I thought I'd give a little review of the maps and tell you a bit more about them in some detail with some nice gameplay for anyone who might be on the fence about these maps or haven't tried them out themselves. First up is Rumble. Now, it feels very familiar, this map, because I feel like there are a lot of designs that have been taken from previous games and previous maps and meshed all into one here. Sometimes this can be quite a volatile concoction, but I feel like it works out this time around and actually makes for quite an enjoyable map. When you're playing on this map, I feel like all the classes and the playstyles work very well. I would only say that the shotguns potentially are at a disadvantage because there's quite a few lines of sight, and I wouldn't say there's an amazing amount of cover for you to duck and dive and weave in and out from to get across the map and kill your opponent, but how powerful the shotguns are, you should be okay. Now, the map's split almost into two halves. It's a bit more frantic and chaotic inside, where you're going to see fast action, close quarter combat, and outside it's very open, and it's going to be a lot of ARs and people shooting from across the map in the sandpit area. The spawns are very reasonable as well, I would say. You don't have to worry too much about people spawning directly behind you. They tend to spawn at one end of the map or the other, and because all the action tends to mesh in the middle, you don't have to worry about people spawn camping you so much. Objective game modes I don't feel particularly work amazingly on this map, bar domination. I think it's actually a very good map for domination. With stuff like hardpoint, it can be a bit more harder to actually break people in once they've got hold of it. And this map overall is very Slayer orientated. It's all about killing your opponent as many times as you possibly can, and that's where you're going to see a lot of people getting their action from. It's just about slaying rather than the objective. Overall, I think this is a solid map. I think it would fare very well in Ground War as well. There are some game modes that obviously are much better than others, but overall, a great little map. Next up is Berserk, which for me is probably my favourite of the whole map pack. And I say that because this feels like a traditional COD map. There's actual flow and purpose to the map itself, and the design fits the way that the game plays out. And despite all of the different places that you can go on the map, the traffic tends to migrate to a consistent area, which is what COD was so good at. And making such huge maps in the past, they did a really good job of making sure that people, actually came head to head rather than being on two separate areas of the map the entire time. Every class and every playstyle seems to get along fine on this. There are lots of lines of sights and cover spots for ARs, close frantic wall runs for SMGs, lots of cover for shotguns to maneuver, and buildings for snipers to get in. The map's based around 3 lanes with territory on ends of the lanes and the action centers around the middle bridge. Because of the lanes, this can create for dynamic players. You can cut into the middle from them, making flanking a little bit more dynamic and doable. The spawns are very similar to Rumble. You will spawn pretty much on either end of the map every time. They're not very easy to flip either. So you can be assured if your team are in their spawn, they will keep spawning in that place. I would say this is the best map because of how fast the action is and the fact that a lot of game modes can work on this map. Some obviously work better than others, but is very diverse in its game type pool. Now, I've had a lot of positives so far to say about this map pack, but we'll have to put those on a temporary hold because Cryogen is probably the worst map in recent memory for me. It's probably the worst map on Black Ops 3. That includes all the regular maps, all the DLC that's come out so far. I wouldn't be surprised to say it will be the worst map even with the next DLC to come out. The spawns are so chaotic because there are buildings separating the spawnee from the enemy. Now, Black Ops 3, it determines a good spawn by whether the opponent can see you or not, basically. And because you can't see the opponent spawning, it deems it as a safe spawn. So if you kill someone, like if I killed someone in this building I'm in right now, they will more than likely spawn behind me straight away and be able to kill me. And there are so many different doorways and hallways to go through that people can get you from so many different angles. The corridors are too narrow. The doorways are too small. You can only really play this map with an SMG or a shotgun. And there's only really one way to... Well, there's 2 ways you can play. You can play really aggressive if you've got a good internet connection, you're confident in your ability, or you sit in a corner and just hope for the best, because it is so hard to actually play with any other sort of method in this one. because they are so dominant. If you have a good internet connection and you're used to slaughtering people online and you play an SMG aggressive style, you're gonna love this map because you will dumpster on everyone, because internet is so crucial on a map like this where you are literally face to face with your enemy every single time. Now there are lines of sights for ARs and snipers to get involved, but they're not particularly in the best of situations. They're kind of out of the way of the actual map action itself. And it doesn't really make for a good time that way. You're basically relying on you to be an SMG god. This map is just a giant maze for me. It's really chaotic. It doesn't really have flow. And the only game mode I see really working on it is Search and Destroy, because that's a bit more structured in how it plays out. Right, enough negatives. Time to get back to the positives. Empire is a map that has been remade from Black Ops 2. It is the fan favorite raid. Probably the fans' favorite map of all time in the Black Ops series, and possibly Call of Duty history. Now, I'm always skeptical with remakes, and everyone knows this about me, because they usually don't play out the same as the COD title they were intended for. With all the new abilities and equipment introduced, it just kind of doesn't work the same way. But the reason this map actually works and retains the same level, or near enough the same level of enjoyment, is because Treyarch actually thought about the design. You think about all the walls people could jump over potentially, like the zigzag wall that you're seeing me go through now, and the wall over on the gym area or the basketball court. They've added guards and raised the walls to make sure that people can't jump over them and give others nasty surprises. It basically makes the map play out almost exactly the same as it used to, and it was so nice to play this map knowing all the old spawns, spots, and all the bits and bobs in between like the back of my hand, and the information remaining true in this version as well. The only difference is the fact that gunfights can now be in the air, people can jump around the corner elevated, but the flow of the traffic is still the same, and it still works exactly the same. The map is a delightful reminder of how a classic map can be implemented into a new iteration of Call of Duty and work very well if the correct alterations are made. By changing small things in the map based on how the new gameplay mechanics work, you can easily create an enjoyable experience for this map and make sure it is a great addition to the game itself. Overall, I would say this is my favourite DLC map pack for multiplayer. It has 3 extremely well-made maps, and although the 4th isn't great, I appreciate what they tried to do with it. The first 2 packs had maps that didn't really flow great. They were all very big with not a lot of sense on how the maps played out. The action tended to be all over the place, and for me, looking back on it, they all seem to just blend into one big chaotic cluster of, you know, the same map almost. With this, they've tried to engage the action in a focal point. They changed the way they do that on the 3 different maps, and I have to say they've done it very well, and I hope they take this into DLC 4. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, do drop a like rating. Make sure you subscribe for more videos out there. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think of these maps yourself. Even let me know what you think about the zombies, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.